My name is Lauren Walsh. I'm 31 years old, and I didn't realize my relationship was already over the night my boyfriend told me not to come home. Not during a fight, not after an argument, not with raised voices or anger, just a text. I need the apartment tonight. Don't come home. Don't ask why. I remember staring at my phone for a full minute, rereading the message like the words might rearrange themselves into something rational, something reasonable, if I just stared hard enough. But the more I looked, the clearer it became. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't temporary. The end had arrived silently, coldly, without any conversation, and it had the power to obliterate the life I thought I shared with him. We'd been together for 2 years. We moved in together 8 months ago. Technically, it was my apartment, my name on the lease, my credit, my deposit, but he had been staying there almost every night long before we made it official. It had never mattered. The apartment had always felt like ours. Shared life, shared routine, shared laughter, and sometimes shared silence. A life built on habit, on momentum, on what I thought was commitment. The apartment had a smart lock system, something I had insisted on after a break-in happened 2 floors down last year. It recorded every entry, time-stamped, transparent, unforgiving. That Monday evening, around 6, I was still at work, finishing reports, when the message came. I need the apartment tonight. I tapped a reply, trying to sound casual. Okay, when should I come back? Not sure. Maybe stay at Emma's. I'll text you. What's going on? I typed, fingers frozen above the keys. Just trust me. Don't come home. Don't ask why. That line, the finality of it, made my stomach drop. Not can I have the apartment? Not I'll explain later. Just don't come home. It was a dismissal disguised as instruction. It was a line drawn, a boundary imposed. I didn't know it yet, but that moment marked the death of what I thought we had. I called Emma, my best friend, my anchor, and asked if I could crash at her place. She said yes immediately, no questions, no hesitation, which somehow made everything feel heavier. By the time I arrived, Emma took one look at me, the tension etched across my face, the disbelief lingering in my eyes, and handed me a glass of wine without a word. What happened? She asked softly. He told me not to come home, I said, to my own apartment. Emma frowned. That's not normal. No, I agreed. It really isn't. I tried to distract myself. I tried to eat. I tried to tell myself I was being dramatic, overreacting, imagining things. But curiosity, or maybe self-preservation, won in the end. Around 8:30 p.m., I opened the smart lock app. At 7:47 p.m., he entered the apartment. Normal. At 8:02 p.m., another entry appeared. Guest access. My chest tightened. That means he let someone in, Emma said quietly, leaning over my shoulder. It could be anyone, I said automatically. A friend, family. She didn't respond. I opened the building directory app, scrolling through recent guest entries at the main door, and then I saw it. 7:58 p.m. Danielle Morrison. I didn't recognize the name. I Googled her. LinkedIn popped up. Finance. 36. Married. Her profile picture showed a confident smile, a tailored blazer, a wedding ring on her left hand. Everything about her radiated composure. My hands started shaking. She was in my apartment with my boyfriend. Right now. I think I know what's happening, Emma said softly. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. I opened my camera and took screenshots of the entry logs, then photographed my lease, my name, my address, proof, evidence, anything that could anchor reality. I opened Instagram. Ryan's profile was public, soccer games, birthday cakes, a small side business. He looked like a normal, kind person, someone who didn't deserve this betrayal. I typed my message slowly, carefully. Hi, Ryan, you don't know me, but I think you need to see this. When I hit send at 9:23 p.m., my chest felt hollow. There was no turning back. Whatever happened next was already in motion. The message sat there, sent, delivered. 8 minutes of silence stretched out like a chasm. Emma turned on the TV. Some reality show hummed in the background, but neither of us really watched. I kept my phone face up on the coffee table, as if staring at it would speed up the future, would force the next moment into existence. At 9:31 p.m., a small notification appeared. Seen. Ryan had read the message. My throat tightened. I imagined him sitting somewhere familiar, scrolling, expecting a harmless message, and instead seeing the truth, the reality that shattered everything in his life, his assumptions, his marriage, his security. He read it. I whispered. Emma exhaled slowly. Okay, that's something. Minutes passed. Then more. No response. No denial. No explosion. Just silence. By 10:45 p.m., my nerves felt like exposed wires. I checked my messages with my boyfriend. Nothing. No explanation. No check-in. Just absence. Then, at 10:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Ryan, where is the apartment? My heart hammered. I typed back the address, the building, the apartment number. Then, I'm on my way. Thank you for telling me. Emma looked up sharply. He's coming. Yeah, I said, right now. Are you going to go back? I shook my head. No, this isn't mine to step into anymore. It was the truth. Whatever happened next belonged to them. At 11:03 p.m., my phone chimed again, not a message, but a security alert. Main entrance accessed. Emma and I exchanged a look. Could be anyone, she said, though neither of us believed it. 3 minutes later, another alert. Unusual noise detected. Floor 6. Emma grabbed her laptop. Hold on. She still had access to the building's public hallway cameras from when she'd dated someone there the year before. She pulled up the feed, fingers flying. And then we saw him. Ryan. Standing in front of my apartment door, shoulders squared, phone in hand, like he had stepped out of another life and into mine without stopping to breathe. He raised his hand and knocked, hard, again, and again. The door opened. My boyfriend stepped into view. Even through the grainy camera feed, I could see his posture shift, first annoyance, then recognition, then panic. Ryan pushed past him without hesitation. The door swung wide open. We couldn't hear the words, but we didn't need to. The tone carried through the screen, rage, disbelief, devastation, all colliding at once. 30 seconds later, Danielle Morrison burst out of my apartment. Her blazer half on, heels in hand, hair disheveled, not the poised professional I'd seen online. She looked like someone caught in the exact moment she thought she'd never be seen. Ryan followed, shouting. He hurled something after her. Her heels clattered on the floor as she sprinted toward the elevator. She didn't look back. Ryan turned, eyes snapping to my boyfriend. Even without sound, I could see him say something that made my boyfriend physically shrink, hands raised as if bracing for words already landed. Then Ryan walked away. 3 minutes. That was all it took. But in that short span, doors along the hallway creaked open, neighbors peeked, whispered, phones lifted. My apartment door remained wide open. Jesus, Emma whispered. My phone buzzed. A text from my boyfriend. Where are you? I didn't reply. Seconds later. Lauren, please, I can't explain. It's not what you think. Then another. Please answer me. I blocked his number. At 11:34 p.m., Ryan messaged again. Thank you. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I'm sorry this happened to you, too. Relief and grief twisted in my chest in equal measure. I'm sorry I had to be the one to tell you, I typed back. Don't be, he replied. Better to know. He's dead to me. Divorce lawyer first thing tomorrow. I set my phone down. The truth had arrived at my door, and nothing, absolutely nothing, would ever be the same again. It's bad. How bad? I asked, though I already knew the answer. He didn't say a word. He just led me to the elevator. The silence was thick, heavy, like walking into something I didn't want to see but couldn't avoid. The ride to the 6th floor felt endless. Every ding of the elevator seemed louder than it should have been. My pulse hammered in my ears, and with every floor that passed, I felt the weight of what I might find pressing harder against my chest. When the doors finally opened, I saw it immediately, my apartment door wide open. gaping like a mouth that had been screaming all night. I froze for a heartbeat. Then, taking a cautious step forward, my heart hammering in my throat, I saw Jordan hovering behind me, hands clasped nervously as if he wanted to keep distance from whatever nightmare awaited inside. I pushed the door wider and stopped cold. The apartment was trashed, not messy, not careless, not accidental, destroyed. Picture frames lay smashed against the wall, shards of glass glittering on the hardwood like tiny stars fallen from the sky, thrown with nothing but rage. Couch cushions were slashed open, stuffing spilling out like white, cotton guts. My TV had a jagged crack running diagonally across the screen as if it had been punched in a fit of fury. Kitchen drawers were emptied, their contents scattered across the tile in chaotic patterns, plates shattered into sharp fragments. My bookshelf had toppled, books strewn like casualties of some war. It looked like rage had become physical. It had a body and it had chosen my apartment as its battlefield. What happened? I whispered, my voice trembling. Jordan swallowed, his Adam's apple bobbing. The cameras show Ryan Morrison was here, but only for a few minutes last night. The confrontation happened around 11 o'clock. I turned slowly, trying to breathe, trying to make sense of the chaos. So, this wasn't her? I asked, my voice tight. No, he replied. The damage, it happened after 2 a.m. Your boyfriend was seen returning alone. He was crying, yelling, throwing things. He left around 4 a.m. and hasn't come back. My chest tightened like a vice. So, after he got caught, after he brought humiliation into my hallway, he came back and punished the apartment. Punished me. I stepped carefully over shards of glass, over broken plates, over furniture that had been treated like paper dolls, and walked deeper into the wreckage. My laptop, smashed. My gaming console, cracked and tossed against the wall like it had no value. Every dish I owned had been hurled, broken, abandoned. But the worst was the bedroom. The mattress was slashed, my clothes ripped from hangers, shredded, scattered across the floor like remnants of a violent storm. Perfume bottles lay shattered, their scents mingling with the sharp tang of destruction. The air heavy, sweet, and suffocating. My closet looked like a tornado had chosen it at random, exacting vengeance on everything I had spent months accumulating. I stood there, hands pressed to my mouth, eyes burning, barely breathing. 2 years of my life reduced to this. Jordan's voice was soft, almost tentative. If you want to press charges, I want him out, I said, my voice shaking, brittle. I want his stuff gone. I want the locks changed today. Jordan nodded quickly. We can do that. And, several neighbors want to talk to you. Of course they did. The building had witnessed my relationship unravel in real time, and now they wanted the aftermath. I forced myself to nod. Fine. I spent the entire Tuesday cleaning. Emma came after work and didn't speak much at first. She just grabbed trash bags and gloves like we were preparing for a hurricane's aftermath. Neighbors kept appearing, some with sympathy, some with curiosity thinly disguised as concern. Mrs. Chen from 4B knocked on the door, a sad look on her face. She held up her phone. I have footage, she said softly. My doorbell camera, it caught everything. I swallowed hard. Everything? She nodded. Later, when I watched it, it was even clearer than the hallway feed. Ryan arriving, pounding on the door, my boyfriend opening it, wearing one of my shirts, face shifting from smug to terrified. Danielle rushing out, half-dressed. Ryan's fury, overwhelming, consuming. And then, hours later, my boyfriend returned alone. He moved through the apartment like a storm with a body, throwing, smashing, sobbing, screaming, as if he were the victim of some cosmic injustice. At one point, he screamed a sentence I'll never forget. You ruined everything. Not I ruined everything, not I'm sorry, just the accusation, thrown like a hammer. Emma paused the video, glancing at me. He's insane, she said quietly. I didn't respond. The truth was already lodged in my chest. Wednesday morning, he tried to return, but the locks had been changed. Jordan called me. He'd shown up in the lobby, demanding access, shouting at the desk staff like they owed him something. When Jordan threatened to call the police, he left. An hour later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered automatically. Lauren, my boyfriend said, voice cracking. Please, I just need my stuff, please. His voice sounded smaller than I had ever heard it, tiny, broken. Your stuff? I repeated. You destroyed most of it when you trashed my apartment. I was upset. He whispered. I panicked. You were caught, I said. It was a mistake, he said quickly. One mistake. We can work through this, please. One mistake? My voice sharpened. You told me not to come home. You planned the night. You brought a married woman into my bed. How long has this been going on? Silence. I gripped the phone tighter. How long? His voice dropped to a whisper. 3 months. 3 months. The number landed in my stomach like poison. I laughed once, sharp, humorless. 3 months. And you still had the nerve to tell me to trust you. Lauren, I love you, he said desperately. Danielle meant nothing. Then why did you destroy my apartment after her husband caught you? I asked. Why didn't you just leave? I was humiliated, he snapped, the mask slipping. Everyone saw. Everyone in the building saw. I went still. Not remorse. Not guilt. Humiliation. That was all. You were humiliated, I repeated slowly. You did this to yourself. His breathing turned angry. You sent her there. You made it public. No, I said, voice cold. You made it public the moment you chose to cheat in my home. I just made sure the truth found the people who deserved to know. I hate you, he spat. Good, I said. That makes this easier. I took a breath. Whatever of your stuff survived is boxed in the lobby. Pick it up by Friday. After that, I'm donating it. Then I hung up, and blocked that number too. That Thursday, the building Grapevine delivered news. Ryan had filed for divorce. Not quietly. Rumor had it he'd confronted Danielle at her office, in front of colleagues. His company, according to gossip, had a morality clause, administrative leave, investigation. His life, unraveling the way mine had. Ryan messaged me later that afternoon. I heard he destroyed your apartment. I'm so sorry. I stared at the words, heavy with the understanding that he owed me nothing. Yet he wrote again, not your fault. He made his choices, and so did yours. I typed back, thank you. I'm still cleaning, still processing. His response came almost immediately, me too. But he's not getting away with it. For the first time in days, I felt something that wasn't heartbreak, not joy, not relief, a quiet, steady certainty. Consequences were finally catching up. 2 months later, the apartment looked normal again. Insurance covered most of the damage, about $3,800 of the $4,200 my boyfriend's breakdown had cost me. Premiums went up, which felt unfair. But it wasn't nearly as unfair as the alternative, living in a space that remembered rage. I pursued the rest in small claims court, not for the money, but for principle. He didn't show up. His parents did. Once. They wouldn't look me in the eye. His mother muttered something about stress and bad decisions. His father said nothing. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't owe them clarity. Their son had spent months lying in my bed. The neighbors, however, were a different story. The night had become building lore, the smart lock logs, the wife showing up, the hallway chaos, the open door, the destruction. Jordan told me, half amused, half impressed, that I was now the woman who didn't scream, didn't beg, and didn't lie. Mrs. Chen from 4B started bringing cookies every Sunday. You handled it with dignity, she said, pressing the container into my hands. I smiled politely. Dignity wasn't the word I'd use, but I refused to be the person who stayed quiet while being betrayed. Ryan and I never became friends, but we checked in every few weeks, not long conversations, not emotional dumping, just understanding. He finalized his divorce quickly. Danielle fought it, but evidence and public unraveling made it impossible to portray herself as the stable option. Last I heard, she had been quietly let go from her firm. My ex never returned for his things. I donated everything he left behind. I heard he moved back to his parents' house in another state. Social media went private after the hallway footage circulated in the neighborhood group chat. Mutual friends asked for my side. Most believed me. A few called me cruel. They are no longer in my life. Here's the truth they didn't understand. I didn't send Ryan anywhere. I gave him the truth. What he did with it was his right. I started therapy, not because I was broken, but because betrayal leaves residue, and I refused to carry it forward. I started dating slowly. Nothing serious, just reminders that honesty still exists, that kindness doesn't need conditions, that trust can be rebuilt brick by brick when someone shows up clean. Last week, Jordan stopped me in the hallway. "You know," he said, smiling, "people still talk about that night." I raised an eyebrow. "Do they?" "Oh yeah," he laughed. "Smart lock justice. It's a cautionary tale now." I thought about that as I unlocked my door. With my code, the smart lock clicked open just like it always had. The difference was now I understood what it really gave me. Not proof, not revenge. Clarity. When my boyfriend told me not to ask why, he counted on my trust, my fear, my willingness to look away. He was wrong. The truth doesn't need volume. It doesn't need theatrics. Sometimes all it needs is a timestamp and the courage to send one message that changes everything.